Okay, we are live, even though it says that I've been staring at the screen for 40 seconds. So that's always fun when it does that if there's a little bit of a delay. And I am so excited to be here with all of you today. Okay, now I see myself, so there's about a 10-second delay. What my plan is for today is to do a little bit of an early bird kickoff of SEO Summer Camp. So as I've told many of you, SEO Summer Camp was kind of like a dream. It kind of came together as like, what do people need? And so we're figuring out as we go. We're saying we've got 100 days together. What do people need to actually move into action? And this felt like a really good way to sort of kick things off and say, where are we right now? What are the things that we can do on our websites as they stand right now? And what are the ways that I can kind of give those little tweaks that we can do on our websites quickly to get the momentum going? I have done this sort of flash review a lot of different ways. I've done it in a Facebook Live. I've done it as separate little Loom videos, and I've chosen today to do this as a YouTube Live because I'm hopeful that we'll see a lot of patterns showing up. So instead of just saying the same thing to multiple people and saying, hey, let's make sure that you have your SEO title. That's a good place to start, right? I may say that. I've got about 20, let me tell you exactly, I think 22 websites that we're going to look at over the next hour and change. I might say the same thing 10 times. And I think sometimes that can help it kind of sink in if you do end up watching this entire broadcast. And I might also say, hey, go back and watch what I said to Erin because that's also relevant to you. So having this sort of ability to see patterns emerging, I think will be really helpful. And we can also get to know each other's businesses in the same way. Now, I do have a bit of a caveat, which is I have not looked at any of your websites in advance. I used to do this in a much more structured way. When I first started my Facebook group back in 2017, I said, submit your websites and I'll make notes and then I'll get on and talk about it. And I felt like because I had done more prep work, I sometimes missed out on those initial impressions. So my goal here is not necessarily to give you a full overview of everything happening on your site. I'm going to give you my first impressions when I land on your site. And the reason I do that is because when people are coming to your site from Google, usually it's cold traffic. If people who aren't already familiar with you, they might not know what you do yet. They might not know how you talk about yourself yet. So one of my biggest goals for doing a feedback loop like this is to help you get clarity and to help you understand how somebody who is completely brand new to your business, in most cases here, I think of the 22 people that we'll be reviewing, I know about 5 of you and I've worked with you. But for the most part, you're brand new to me. And I want to give you that really cold feedback on your websites. So let me move this over here. If you are watching this live in, I didn't start running. Let's see. It should be embedded, but it doesn't look like it seems to be working in the circle group. So let me reload that and see if it is actually working, if you guys can watch that live. And there we go, you can. If you're watching it live, great. I would encourage you, if you're live, to come over and chat with me in YouTube. So you can click right on that button in circle. If you're not here live, that's totally okay. I intentionally built everything in summer camp to be done on a time that's convenient to you, so you don't have to be here. And I do know exactly what my timestamps are, so I will get started. Let's see, we'll start with Erin, and I will pull this up on my screen. So let me shift some things around and picture myself. So here's Erin, and this is at exactly 4 minutes. So let me I'll even show you guys how I'm kind of doing this. I'm going to do reply is 4 minutes. And it wants to have me add emojis. So now Erin will know to go right there. Okay, so she's got this huge white screen here that says great copy helps you close the sale. Stand out from your, I'm already losing it a little bit. This is a little bit too slow for where my brain is going. I appreciate what you're trying to do here, Erin, but I also feel like I'm not going to sit here for 30 seconds until all of these roll through, or 20 seconds. So I would say either move the CSS to move a little bit faster, or I definitely don't want this to be a slider. but I would like it to go a little bit faster. I'm not going to sit through this. Okay, tell me more. And there's a break. It's not scrolling down. Okay, so was that... I kind of want that whole splash page gone, Erin. It's really cute, but I'm losing it. And I also didn't know where to click. Do I click tell me more or do I click the button? And I didn't know. I just went somewhere totally different, didn't I? I don't know if I'm supposed to click tell me more. I don't know what tell me more does. I would like to see this instead of tell me more, which I thought was going to push me down on the page. I'd like to see something here that's more clear about what I'm going to get if I click on that button. So I think it sent me to the services page. I would have this, I would maybe have to say something a little bit clearer, like skip the small talk, tell me how we can work together, or I can scroll down. And now here we've got some pain points. Hi, I'm in. And so also, just so you guys know, I'm not reading every bit of text on your website. I'm looking at the flow of it. I'm looking at the color contrast, and I'm looking at what, mostly for the most part, what the headlines are, because those have more weight in Google search results. Okay, so we've got great copy is what we're starting with. Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a copywriter and a content strategist. Good. I'm so glad that we have a specific title here that people are familiar with already. Here we've got, again, find out more. This one goes to our services page. So the fact that we have two calls to action on the homepage that go to different places but have the same button is a little bit confusing to me, that one of them will go to the services page and one of them that says the same thing as your about page. But I'm glad we have a link to your about page. 3 easy to implement tips to improve your current copy. This is a really great lead magnet. I wonder if it's a mini copy audit. When I say mini copy audit, I kind of, is this a checklist? Is this a PDF? If it's a PDF, I kind of would like to see an image of the PDF right here. I think I'd be more likely to read through it. And I think I'd also be confused about how, what the format is of this. And also, is it an audit or is it a checklist or is it tips? I guess I'm not really clear about what I should expect to get here. And we've got some clients, and then we've got let's connect, which is contact. I kind of feel like I want a clearer idea of what you want me to do next. Right now we have 4 pages on your site and your homepage points me to each of them. I would kind of like to see which is the most important. What do you want people to look at? I think it might be the services page, given that you have this here. But I think it is really clear what you do and what the benefits are, which is huge. And it's very clear. I love your brand. I like the black, gray, yellow. It's very bold. It's very easy to read. And then we're going to contact form. Okay, cool. I really like this website. I do wish that the kind of splash at the top went faster, and also all of your SEO titles. And this is something that I think we talk about in the 10-day blogging bootcamp. All of your SEO titles are just the page name. I think it would be really great here if your SEO title, so your SEO title is what shows up in your search engine results. And so if people were looking for something like, and Erin just in another comment today was like, I'm in Massachusetts. So if somebody was looking for copywriter Massachusetts, they wouldn't know that that's Erin, because we don't have the word copywriter or Massachusetts or conversion copywriter or sales page copywriter. We want to be much more specific in our SEO titles here, so that when people are looking for something like, and I think she said website copywriter, content strategist, SEO copywriter. Read the screen. I see that. I'm going to move this over here so that it's not distracting, switching back and forth. Yeah, I think we want to get the phrase website copywriter or sales page copywriter into your SEO title, and maybe also into your about page SEO title. And then for your services page, we want to have like SEO copywriting services or website copywriting services, not just services. So that's something really quick that I'm probably going to tell all of you to do. Getting more information into that SEO title, which is, again, what shows up not just here in the tab, that's just where I see it, but also what shows up in those Google search results. And I think that's like day 6 or day 7 of the 10-day blogging bootcamp, how to do that. All right, so there is my feedback on Erin. We will move on to Ruth. Let me pop you up here, Ruth. Ruth says, Ruth Bullivant book coaching. Is book coach an okay phrase? How do I know if my SEO is working? And who would play her in an actor? Which actress would play her as Judi Dench? I like that. All right, so Ruth says, book coaching right here. So I know right out of the gate, this is what she does. Book coaching. Personal guidance as you write your book. This is so clear. I wish there was either, and this is now less about SEO and more about accessibility. I wish this image behind was either darker, like you could put like an overlay over top of it, or lighter, and then you change the darkness of the text. But there's not quite enough contrast here between what I'm seeing on the screen. I can, and like there are specific places in here. Oh, here we go. Good pop up. Especially like where the particular books are a little bit lighter, or the gap in between. So I like this image here. I think I'd also like to see it at about half the height that it is. Right now, when we talk about what shows up above the fold, that's the part before I start scrolling. And this entire thing, like you have so little information above the fold. I kind of want the fold to end like right here. Even if that means we see fewer books, if we need to kind of zoom in or find an image that has fewer books, or that we don't get the full height and it just ends right there, I think that would be fine. Personal guidance. I don't know that people would necessarily search for guidance. And I kind of want the word book coaching to show up in this location. Even though I know it says book right here. But personal guidance kind of feels like you're a guidance counselor, not like you're a coach. And then also, what does that guidance entail? Are you helping people pitch to a publisher? Are you helping them come up with their book idea? Are you copy editing their manuscript? Are you helping them do their marketing and promotion? I don't think this is quite clear enough. I would like to see a bit more detail right here off the bat. Something like, you know you have a book in you. Let me help you get it out of your brain. You know, like it could be something that's a little bit more active in this space, that when people land here, if they're looking for something like book coach, also I would say, what kind of book? Is this a nonfiction book people are writing? Is this romance novels that you're working on? Are you helping them with like their first novella? Are they getting it published? Are they self-publishing? Who is the ideal client for this? I'm not sure about that. It feels a little too general for me. So let's scroll down. Write your nonfiction book proposal. Boom. I want that phrase up here. And so that way it's really clear that you're helping people with the book proposal. Oh, but we have 3 different things. Get your fiction manuscript submission ready, develop your pitch strategy. So you have 3 different ways that you're helping people. You're helping both nonfiction book people, fiction writers, and pitching. And I'm like brand new to the idea of writing a book. Who am I pitching to? Am I pitching to publishers? Let's use the phrase publisher, right? Because people might be going and searching for how to pitch to a publisher. Under my guidance also feels just a little bit loose here. I would get a little bit more specific. Okay, I'm a trained book coach certified by Author Accelerator. I'm also a lawyer, author, and qualified project manager. Right now, Ruth, this is clear about who you are. It's not clear about who you're helping. And one of the things that my website copywriting friends will tell me is that this page, your homepage, shouldn't be about Ruth. This should be about your client. So switching this up a little bit. Oh, this is what I was looking for above the fold. Switching this up a little bit to be more focused on, you have that book in you, let me help you get it published. Like, that's the benefit. It's not, I get to work with Ruth, because right now I'm reading this and saying, oh, Ruth was certified by Author Accelerator, so she's gone through this process, but it's not that she knows me. This feels like the most interesting copy on the page, where you're actually tapping into what people want. You need an inspired book proposal. You want to get your novel going. You need to set your publishing goals. Those are the most important things on this whole page. Not necessarily who's Ruth or how do we work together. I would cut this page in half. I would cut this right here a little bit shorter. I would make this call to action, or this header at the top, be something more like, you have a book and you, let me help you get it out, which sounds a little weird. And then instead of starting with who you are, you can say, I help my clients to write nonfiction book proposals that get picked up by publishers and get their fiction manuscripts ready to be pitched, right? Like, make it clear, make it snappy here. And then here are some ways I can help you. And then I think that's the end of the page. Boom, right here, or maybe right here at book a free call. But then this right here, everything from here, this can go onto your contact page or the schedule a free call page. They don't need to know this yet until they've committed enough to get to the free call page. And then again, I would put this on the page where they're already interested in the free call. I would put this on the page when they're already interested in it. I want to keep this a lot shorter on your home. The FAQ could be a whole different page. Maybe you want to still have this on here. Yeah, this is too deep for a homepage. I would like this to be much shorter and just say to people, let people decide what they want to know from you. Having the contact form at the bottom of your homepage, I don't want to say like it's presumptuous, but people might need more information before they get there. So definitely have this button where they can book the call with you if they're ready, but I would keep this much shorter and let them decide where they want to be, kind of choose your own adventure style. So, okay, Ruth, I forgot to write down when we started. Okay, it was 8 minutes. 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So let me just write that right here. 8:50. All right. Now we are going to Ellen, and we are at moment 16 minutes. So let me make that note to Ellen. Okay, here is Ellen's page. Let me make sure you guys can see that. And let me make sure there are no questions. Oh, hey, we have people here. Hey, Erin's here. Sandra's here. Ruth is here. Yes. Okay, Erin says that she is learning so much from this. The homepage hero section will be completely removed, and she's going to go in and edit SEO site title page titles right now. Nanjunda, I will answer that question a little bit later about, well, we're not going to be talking about Google My Business sites. Or no, you're talking about Google Business. I don't know the answer to that. Okay, Ruth says, spot on. You've articulated all my doubts. Yes, I know that feeling of like, especially the first time that you're building a website, you're like, I just want to get all the information out of my brain and onto the page. I'm going to swoop back to Ruth for a second. Because I just want to like get it so people can access it. And we don't necessarily think about the way that people are flowing through our websites until we have a bit more time with it. So I'm glad that that was really helpful. Oh, and Amy just joined us. Hi, Amy. Yeah, so Nanjunta, you're welcome to Google how to add SEO for your Google business site, but I'm not going to get into that level of detail on this kind of feedback for people. Okay, we're moving on to Ellen. Ellen is at Sanctuary Christian Counseling, helping couples, individuals, and families find peace. Online therapy, good. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Indiana. We can help virtually. Okay, so that's a certification question here about where you can provide that sort of counseling, where she's certified. If you happen to be near Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, we can help face-to-face. We have therapists who specialize in teens and children. Okay, so I love this value statement of like, here are the things we can help you with. We can be online or in person. If you're local, here's how we can meet. If you're online, here's how we can meet. Here are our specialties. It's a lot of information in one place, but I do feel like I'm getting the gist of everything. I wonder if there's a way that we can spread this out a little bit more so that way it's not just one big block of text. But I also know that a lot of people had their websites designed, and then when COVID hit, they kind of just put up these blocks of text that are like, here's how we can help you online. So we'll come back to this. This is pretty but too tall. Same thing I said to Ruth, where it's like I have to scroll down so much, and right now I'm on a desktop, so scrolling isn't quite as painful. But if you're thinking about what people are going through on a phone, I think if we have more than 1 or 2 thumbs, we're like, oh, this is taking forever. So I would shorten this up by quite a bit. Like, it's pretty. Maybe we could just have it be the background image, but cut it off like here. I'm pointing at my screen like you can see it, but like here, you know, and having the what's it called? Now I'm forgetting. Parallax. There we go. Having the parallax of having the page move, but this stays in place makes sense for the type of image this is and the feeling that you want this image to evoke. I just think it can be a lot shorter. Boom! Compassionate, creative Christian therapy in Shippensburg, PA. Boom! I'm loving how clear this header is. It's like I know exactly what I need to know how I can work with Ellen. I would also say compassionate, creative Christian therapy in Shippensburg and online. I also kind of wonder about creative. I don't know if I want my therapist to be super creative, but I like the alliteration here of compassionate, creative Christian therapy in Shippensburg, PA, and online. We may also want to say here specializing in children and teens, although we do have marriage too. Okay, who we are, what we do, who we help. Marriage, family therapy, grief therapy, sex therapy, individual therapy. I kind of wish these call to action boxes were different and that they were less about Ellen and Ellen's group of professional Christian therapists and more about the services. So instead of having this click to who we are, what we do, who we help, I kind of want this to be the different types of therapy that you provide. So having a section that's like family therapy, and then you can give an explanation of we can help children and teens with specific things, and then having another section that is couples therapy or marriage and couples therapy, because here's another like SEO thing, right? When we have these headlines, nobody's looking for what we do, but they're looking for marriage and family therapy or marriage and Christian or marriage and couples therapy. So having that front and center, here are our specialties: family therapy, family and kids therapy, marriage therapy, grief therapy, or sex therapy, or whatever you want that third one to be, but letting the services guide the conversation instead of your experience or what makes you different. Again, if people are coming into this and they already know Ellen and they want to work with Ellen, they're going to click through and say, yep, I know that's what I need. But if I don't know Ellen yet, I want to know, do you offer couples therapy? Do you offer family therapy? So getting that information front and center, and then letting people choose the types of therapy that they're looking for based on their needs, and letting them go down that choose your own adventure to figure out what it is that they want. Grieving individuals, distressed kids and teens, and couples in conflict. That might be that might be really interesting here. Marriage therapy for couples in conflict could be one of our settings. Family therapy for distressed kids and teens, and grief therapy for grieving individuals. Maybe find a word that isn't a synonym here of grief and grieving. But I think that's so great that we can be clear about what are people getting and who is it for, and focus on that instead of who we are and what we do. Because that's really clear. I think your offerings here are clear. I think your audience is clear. In your words, I kind of just want the navigation to be shifted around a little bit. I also do want to give Ellen some great feedback, some great props for having counseling Shippensburg's PA. Now we just have the word counseling here, and that's our homepage. So maybe here, instead of having the full Sanctuary Christian Counseling as part of the SEO title, it could be something that is whatever we just said about couples, family, and grief therapy in Shippensburg, PA. And that way we get a bit more information in there. In this case, we would cut out the brand name. But if people already know that they're looking for Sanctuary Christian Counseling, they would be able to find that by searching for the brand name. And if they don't know that they want Sanctuary Christian Counseling, then that's not going to help push them to click through. Whereas if you say family, children, or family, marriage, and grief therapy in Shippensburg, PA, they're much more likely to click through. So that's definitely worth considering. Helen says, do we update our page titles for SEO by updating the title itself or the SEO section? It would be in the SEO section of whatever software you are using. I'll come back to like a little picture for it, or like a talking to you thing. So if you're in WordPress, then whatever your SEO plugin is. So that section in Yoast or Rank Math on the sidebar. If you're on Squarespace, you would want to go into the page settings, or Shopify, you'd want to go into the page settings. Wix, same thing, where you go into the SEO tab of any of those. And that is covered in the 10-day blogging bootcamp course. Like I said, I think it's like day 6, where after we get some of those ideas of the things that people are looking for, then we start to optimize the actual pages. Okay. Don't see any. Okay. Helen says, thank you. All right. Who is next? We have Laura. Let me pull her up and let me grab the timestamp for her. We're right at 24 minutes. 24:11. Post. Okay, here is Laura at Podcast Hers. Helping entrepreneurs rise, launch, and grow your successful podcast. Boom. I love this, except that it's an image. No! The things that only SEO people nerd out about. I want this to be text, Laura. And here's the reason why. If this is an image, then let me just show you kind of what I mean. Open image in new tab. If this is an image, then Google can't necessarily know what this is. I can see that the title of the image is Launch and Grow Your Successful Podcast, which is really good to have the file name of the image have that much detail. So well done there. But also, like, this is the only clue that Google has what this is. It's not heading text. And heading text on your homepage is like the most important thing that Google looks at. It's like, what is that H1 heading? Like the little brackets that say H1, like your top heading. And that I would really like to see this as text. Also because even though you've done a good job of centering it on the page, like the image is really tall. And so I'm kind of, I don't want to say concerned, but I'm curious to make sure that this still looks good on all different mobile devices, every responsive option. I'm afraid it might get potentially a little bit small on the page if we're looking at it on a smaller screen. If I were to do, now you guys are going to see pictures of my kids, my big mess of, okay, so it does scale. It's doing okay, but it does get a little small. So I would prefer to see this as text. I get that you've got the ampersand that's really stylized, but I do feel like we're missing out on an opportunity here to make this text and make it really super clear to Google that this is the thing that you want to be known for here. Okay, launch and grow your successful podcast. Start here, and we're going to this page now. I just kind of want to see. Okay, so this is your opt-in. So you've got your opt-in that they can click to start. You've got the same thing right here. I kind of wish this wasn't a lead magnet click, because I don't feel like I've gotten to know you well enough yet to sign up for your email list. And if we have the exact same thing down here, I think this does the same job. I would kind of want this to either scroll down the page a little bit more, have it be a pop-up instead of a whole nother page that opens in the same window, because right now this opens in the same window and I already feel like I've lost my place on your website. And I don't know if I would go back. So I would say either a pop-up that is super clear. Start here as a button isn't clear enough, because I think it's going to send me to the work with me page. I didn't think that this was going to send me to a pop-up. So if we want to have, to a separate page. If we want to have the call to action here be to join your email list, I would have it say launch and grow your successful podcast, get your free guide. And then people could get that information from you. They know what to expect. Start here. I feel like you're going to send me to the work with me page. Okay, let's see. Hey there, lady. I see you. I want this to be clearer, because right now the first text that really shows up on this page aside from the opt-in is this, and it could be any website that's leaning towards that's focusing on women. So I like that it has this kind of conversational feeling, but it feels a little generic. So maybe since we don't necessarily have a value statement up at the top of start and grow because that's an image, maybe we could say something like, I want to see what else we have here so I can steal from you. I like this. Right here, instead of, hey there, I see you, maybe something more like, you want to build a successful podcast that helps you achieve your dreams, right? I don't just want to be, you want to be a successful entrepreneur, because this hasn't mentioned podcasting yet. I want if we're not going to have, text up here that mentions podcast in text, I want down here to have the word podcast, like front and center, H1, H2 level text. I want it to be like so obvious when people land here that you help women run podcasts. So saying something like, you want to have a successful podcast that gives you financial freedom. Let's spell it out. Let's be clear in the biggest levels, or the biggest text that we can, because I feel like you're hitting the pain points, but it just feels a little generic right now. It doesn't mention the podcast. Same thing here. Who's going to rule the online space? And then we have this really beautiful image, but it's not text. And so Google's reading, who's going to rule the online space? Like, it's still an open question. It doesn't understand necessarily that that is the answer. I like this. I like that when I scrolled down, these would count in time. I want this way sooner. Just like, what does a wildly successful podcast look like? And I want that benefit of having a wildly successful podcast to come sooner. I also wonder about build. Are you doing podcast strategy? Are you doing the editing? Are you doing the production? Build feels a little loose. It feels a little generic. So, and maybe not even I help you. Hi, I'm Laura. I help women entrepreneurs to strategize and produce wildly successful podcasts that help them get found by new clients and sponsors. Like, we can get super specific here with this value statement of who you are and what you do. And I kind of want it up higher. Maybe here, like above the stats, because I want to see your face earlier on this. This is a gorgeous picture. The brick wall is a really nice color, and then having it in your brand colors, it's all working for me. I just want it sooner. I want you sooner in this. Okay, we'll map out the podcast that will bring you revenue and listeners. Okay, so you're doing the mapping. I'll help you step by step launch the podcast, production, and content plan. We're getting all the way to the bottom of the page, and now I finally understand what you do. So let's clump this. I kind of want these three. Either I want them to be bullet points up here at this point, or maybe up here. Launch and grow your successful podcast. You can even say underneath this in text, if you want to keep the image here, instead of having the start here button, maybe just have an H1 sentence that says, our agency helps women entrepreneurs to strategize, edit, and produce profitable podcasts. Whatever that value statement is, I want it right off the gap, right off the jump, above the fold. I feel like it took me till 2/3 of the way down the page. Oh, can we move this whole thing up too? I want all the good stuff up at the top. Yes, I think moving all of this up would be really great. And then you still can have these, I hear you, I see you, I want to help you, the market's getting louder. All of that can still exist, but I want it to come to emphasize the point, not to build objections. Okay, let's see. I'm going to check the... Oh, I didn't share the screen again. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Thank you for calling me out, guys. Yeah, YouTube does need a function to let listeners to wave madly to the speaker. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me give you guys, oh my God. I feel like an idiot. So this is Laura's site. Forgive me, Laura. I was saying that I would like this image to be text if possible, or to have some sort of value proposition down here. I want the start button to not say start here, to say something like get your free guide, or to not be there yet, because we do have the call to action right here. Instead of this kind of connection language, I want there to be a stronger idea of who we're talking about here. So I kind of want Laura's face right here, her services below, and then we can have that engagement post and everything else. So I kind of want this section and this section to move right up. Okay, so I think I just walked through everything else in 1 minute or less. I'm sharing my screen again. We should be in better shape. Thank you guys for your patience as I'm still, figuring it all out. Okay, next we're gonna go to Jennifer with Little Hammer Games. This is at 33:35, so let me reply to that. Giving her time code. She says she wants to be found for baby shower games, and she wants to know, should I add text to my collection page? And she would be played by Kristen Stewart. Okay, Sandra says, she makes a really good point that nobody actually left because the feedback is helpful. So thank you guys for bearing with me. I appreciate it. And I will keep I'll check on my comment box more frequently, but now I can see that I'm sharing my screen, so we're good. Okay, so here's Jennifer. Yes, we have SEO titles, party games for introverts to help you entertain your guests. So the SEO title, if I were to go look up Little Hammer Games, I want to show you guys kind of how that would look. Oh, the SEO title is not the same as what's up there. Right now it just says Little Hammer Games, Little Hammer Games. So we'll have to look into, I can't remember, are you on... Looks like Shopify. Yep. So maybe Shopify has a little bit of a different place to put it where what's here is not necessarily what shows up in Google search results. So go and double check that for me, Jennifer. Okay, party games for introverts, entertain your guests. So we have this image right here, which is really great because it's clear about who we're talking about. It's got an image of the product here, but same thing that I was just saying, which is that if we have text on an image, Google doesn't necessarily know what's happening in that image. It just sees that this is an image. Right now, her title is Wedding Bingo Hero Image, which is good, but Google can't read this text, the party games for introverts. I'm planning a baby shower. Let's make sure. I'm going a little bit more specific here because I feel like a lot of these things I'm going to say over and over, so I kind of want to look at new things. I'm trying to see if Jen has alt text here so I can show you guys what that looks like. Because we want this to not just say I'm planning a baby shower, but we want to make sure that if the, if this website, that Google understands that this is an image about baby showers, and that if somebody's using a screen reader, they get the alt text read to them, that they have that this is an image about baby showers. And right now it's not there. What it says is it's just this like Shopify long link that's called new baby shower icon. So I'm glad that this image has a good file name, but I want to make sure that it does have alt text attached to it. Introverts just want to have fun. I would want this to be something like baby shower, like a baby shower specific, not just for introverts here. Because we're talking about shopping baby shower games. Like baby shower games don't have to involve baby bottles or like diapering up a doll or eating melted candy bars, or like I've been to so many baby showers where they're like measure the mom's waist, and it's like, oh god, I would never ever want that. So I would maybe even like lean into like baby shower games don't have to be awkward. And you can please grandma at the same time. I like this text, but I don't just want it to be about introverts. I want that to be about baby showers. I like this. This is clear, unconventional twist on the bridal shower game, bridal bingo, and then shopping bridal shower games, bachelorette party. And then here, let's get the text in here that says bachelorette party game designed to be a hit with everyone, even shy or sober. So getting the word bachelorette into our titles here. And then here, wedding, you put the word wedding in here. Banish the boring wedding cocktail hour, and or you could say, and entertain your wedding guests, but get the word wedding in here. I know we have it right here, we have it here, but Google pays a lot of attention to these, and like people reading your website don't read this unless they're interested in this. So always making sure that we have a clear, this image is really clear and I like it, making sure that the alt text is here in case it doesn't show up on someone's screen, making sure Google knows that this is the section about weddings, getting the word wedding into here, not just into here. Ooh, I like this showcase. And then for all of these collections, not just baby fill in the blank, but baby shower fill in the blank, baby shower, like baby shower and all of the collections. You had a specific question about your collections too. Should I add text to my collection pages? Yes, please. So I'm going to answer the specific question for Jennifer because Shopify is a little different when we're talking about products. If you can put some sort of text up here, that would be really good. So in that collection category section, putting in here, like not just the name baby shower games, because it's good. We have baby shower games and we have baby shower games in our SEO title probably, but having some sort of description here that's like what I just said, we've all been to baby showers that have these awkward, pin the tail on the carriage. I don't know. I don't think that's one of them. Guys, after I talk to myself in a room alone for 45 minutes, I start to make stuff up. But you could empathize with people in that space and start to say things like, again, things that are fun for the parent, like fun for the guests, approved by grandma, and not embarrassing for mom and dad, right? Like, what are the things that we want these baby shower games to do? I would put that in there. Okay. I hope that's helpful. Jennifer, let me check my chat box, make sure I'm not leaving people hanging here. All right, Jennifer's here. She's on Shopify. I got to figure out how to fix that. Alt text is in there. So it might be, it just kind of shows up kind of funny in the Chrome settings. Party games for introverts. Where has this been all my life? Amy says. All right, Amy, you and Jennifer can connect. That's why I love doing this live too, so we can get to know each other's businesses. Oh, good. Sandra's loving it too. All right. Amy Adams, who would be played by Amy Adams. I wasn't sure if Amy Adams would be played by Amy Adams, but I'm glad you went for it and just embraced the name. Amy runs AJA Marketing. She wants to be found for marketing consulting. Okay, and I'll pull these up again. All right. Sounds good. I'll let you guys keep talking. I'm going to talk about Amy's site and clear out some of these other tabs. Amy says, action plus measurement equals results. AJA Marketing specializes in personalized marketing, business development, and association management services. Now, I've had a call with Amy, so I know association management is things like, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, because I think I saw that you're here, Amy. It's like legal associations, or those kinds of places where people are paying membership dues to them, and so the SEO part of my brain is like, let's be clear about which associations they are. But then I remember that people who are in associations would just use the phrase association management. So this is one of those situations where knowing who your audience is, how they talk, if you were reaching out to me and explaining association management, you'd have to go into more detail. But the people who are already in it understand it because that's how they would talk about it. We'll help you create opportunities, reach more clients, make a lasting impression. I'd like to see that stronger. Not just create new opportunities, but like get new leads, reach more clients. What's a lasting impression look like? What are some outcomes? If we're talking, especially if we're talking about measurement, I'd really like to see more specific metrics that you would track with people. I know we want to lead people into this conversation potentially a little bit more slowly than just, let's talk about your KPIs. Like that might not be how they talk yet. But if we're going to talk about measuring and getting results that are measurable, I kind of want this hero section to be more specific about what you're getting from it. Okay, Amy confirms nonprofit associations, legal associations. And I know you're trying to get out of the legal niche, so I don't want to lean too heavy into that. Marketing strategy, reach more clients. Yeah, I think we can get more specific here if you are going to be doing more measurement work. I think that would be good to emphasize the kinds of things. Same thing here. It's time to expand and influence your reach. So far, the only time that I've seen the word marketing on your site is in your brand name. If we want to be found for marketing consulting, which is the phrase that you said you wanted to show up for marketing consulting, I would want that to show up here. AJA Marketing specializes in marketing consulting or marketing strategy or marketing services, right? Like we want to get that phrase that we're looking to be found for into this copy. I know we have marketing in a couple different places, but expand your reach and influence. Yeah, I think that's kind of the general idea of what marketing can do. But let's tap into what specifically you can expect if you hire a marketing consultant. And so we might want to hit, and I hate to say like, talk about and agitate all your client pain points, but I think we want to get more specific here. Instead of like agitating pain points, have it be like, I want to acknowledge what people are going through. If we're talking specifically to something like nonprofit associations or small businesses, then probably the concern here is time limitations of people who are already stretched really thin trying to do a lot in limited time. They may not have a marketing background. They may be lawyers who are all running this association and they don't know how to get more people to join the association. If they're small businesses, then they might not have the money to hire a professional marketing person full-time on their team. So what are the outcomes that they're missing out on by doing this? It's not just expanding reach. It's like, you want your marketing to get you more clients consistently, or you wish you could afford a full-time marketing person, but you can't. So let me help you figure out a strategy that your team can implement, right? Like what are the specific problems that they're struggling with? And if we can use some of those keywords around like full-time employee, like, or whatever they might think that they want, even better. So I want you to get more specific in this copy. Association, cool. Okay, association and nonprofit management. Nonprofit management makes me think that you're doing the actual, like, let's set up the 501c3s, not like, let me help you market the nonprofit. So I would say association and nonprofit marketing. Strategic marketing and business development. Who's this for compared to this? I'm curious about, but I like that we have something really specific about strategic marketing and business development. Event marketing. Okay. I am on board with association, nonprofit management, strategic marketing and business development, and event marketing. Consulting and training feels a little bit more like who you are versus what they might need. And when I see we work with proactive clients to help drive positive changes, who are the clients for this and this? I think that's the part that I'm missing here is, aside from the associations and the nonprofits, who else is benefiting from working with you? Who else are you trying to attract? Are these small businesses? I'm also concerned that marketing consulting or marketing strategy feels too vague. And we need to find some hook that people are interested in. So it might be leaning more heavily on the business development side of things and getting more leads and building your sales pipeline and kind of like getting into people who use words like sales pipeline. I also wonder, because you don't mention things like social media management or outreach management or, that side of things. I also wonder if you're trying to get reached by a local audience. And if so, we want to be more clear about that. So you're in New Jersey. Let's talk about that. Are you trying to get found by other organizations in New Jersey? If so, let's mention more, not just up down here, but if you're trying to be found by people in New Jersey, AJA Marketing specializes in marketing, strategic consulting, business development training, and association management services for nonprofits and businesses in New Jersey, right? And then these are the outcomes we can help you get. So I think the flow of the page does make sense. It's getting clearer to me what it is that you do, especially if we have LinkedIn profiles. These are a more corporate audience if we're talking about LinkedIn. I kind of want it to hit me over the head a little bit harder. It feels a little bit loose and vague here. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Let me pull open the next one. We've got Amanda Dollar, Outsmart Webinars. And we are at 47 minutes and we don't have too many big surprises. I'm sharing my screen again. So let me give her Amanda, played by Melissa McCarthy, who is hysterical. Okay, so website's fairly new, doesn't have much of the way in content, but she's been self-employed and booked up solid for 6 years, trying to actively market to an entrepreneur-focused niche and lose some corporate baggage clients. Okay, she wants to be found for webinar marketing. Webinar presentation strategist and coach. Her question is webinar or presentation consulting a more popular search term? Before COVID, I mostly did live presentation design and delivery, but I had to pivot to virtual when mass events got canceled. I do presentations from strategy to content development and writing through slide design and delivery coaching. Okay, Outsmart Webinars. Let me double check, make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. All right, webinars that work. I help entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants incorporate signature webinars into their business to scale their marketing and stop searching for one-to-one leads. Boom! That's a mic drop. Like, that is so clear. I help these people to do this, and here are the outcomes they get. I love it. I love it. And you say Outsmart Design, but now you're becoming Outsmart Webinars. Pardon the dust as we transition. We've got it clear here. Awesome. Tell me more. Where's this go? I'm not sure. It clicks. Is it a pop-up? Not anywhere yet, but I know the site is under construction. So, do you ever zone out when a speaker puts up slides? it's so clear where you're going here. And the part of me just wonders, yes, as an entrepreneur who delivers webinars, that does happen to me, but I kind of wonder if we want to emphasize their experience as a speaker as opposed to their experience as a viewer here, and say, like, do you worry that your webinar participants zone out as soon as you put up slides? Right? Like, instead of it being talking to people who are watching webinars, instead you want to position yourself as somebody who's talking to people who's delivering webinars. This is super clear. Your signature webinar and copyable framework. Yes. Okay. Love this title. I think it's clear. I like that you're using the phrase webinars a lot. I like how bold the text or the background is behind it. I like the plain background. I like how big the text is. This is so good. And I like that you're saying, like, you're so good at explaining what it is that you do, but you don't know how to get people to buy. I wish that was slightly clearer. Maybe just moving this, making this a little bit bigger, or yeah, because this is clever, but I also want to say, like, experts are too smart for their own webinars and they don't know how to sell or something like that. How it works. Okay, we do have another page. Oh, are you Canadian? Yes. I see this and I'm like, okay, she's worked with Shannon. Oh, she's probably Canadian. This confused me at first glance because it's more about the secrets than the launch strategies. I love this image. It's so clear what you're giving to people, but I do wish that it was more focused on the outcome that they're going to get from it instead of the fact that it has the word secret in the title. That's a great, oh yeah, Toronto. Okay. We're practically neighbors. I'm only 100 kilometers from the Canadian border. It sounds much cooler than saying I live about 2 hours away. Okay, so I know you're getting into this and you asked specifically about saying presentation design versus webinar design. And I think presentation feels like an umbrella term for webinar, but I do think that when you're talking to entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants, they would look for webinar. I feel like I understand that you help people with their webinars and that they can scale their marketing and that they can use it to sell. I'm not clear yet what exactly you're helping them with. And you say in your notes to me, I'm going to help them with design. I'm going to help them come up with a pitch. And maybe you go into this in the how it works section. And maybe you talk about it a little bit here too. And I skim everything. But I kind of want to hear, like, I can help you, boom, boom, boom. I want like 3 bullet points right here that are clear about, like, I help you come up with a webinar topic that will sell. I help you design slides that people won't zone out on. And I help you deliver the webinar in a way that's compelling, right? Like, what are those top 3 things? Down the road, we might want to have 3 different pages for each of those that they can click through on where they get stuck. And then you can target your even if you're offering the same services, you can target your language to people who are stuck on how to design the slide deck versus the people who are like, I have the slide deck and I don't know how to sell. They might have slightly different messaging that goes out to them. But I do feel like this is a really clear value proposition. And I do think that entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants would use the term webinar and look for a webinar consultant, webinar designer, webinar coach. I think any of those terms might be things that are looking for. And as you're going through, the 10-day blogging bootcamp and starting to do some of the keyword research, you might also see the specific questions that people are asking about. Which webinar platform should I use? And what should I put in my slides? And when is the best time of day for webinars? And yes, I've done all of this keyword research before for people. So I know that those are the first 3 blog posts that I would tell you to write. But it doesn't matter what time you deliver your webinar if it's a crappy webinar. It would be kind of fun to lean on. So cool. Okay. Thank you very much. Jean asked a great question. Are gradient backgrounds just as good as single color? Gradient backgrounds are totally great. The only concern that I have for gradients is that if our text is not in contrast enough with our gradients, it can be harder to read. So I have no problems with using gradients. I think sometimes they can break things up in a really beautiful way and transition things well from one section to another. But they can be hard to read sometimes. So making sure we have that color contrast. All right, we are at Amy Crow. Amy, I know you're here, but I'm still going to put in a timestamp. And I know we're getting close to the top of the hour, so if you guys need to go, I just want to say how much I appreciate you coming live and telling me when I forget to share my screen and giving that feedback about any additional questions. Oh, I love live video. All right, here is Amy. Let me just read through her notes really quickly. She's Gina Davis. Excellent choice. There's no crying in baseball. Okay, genealogy, family history. What keywords would I use for a post that gives answers, but people wouldn't know to search for that? Like a special set of records on Civil War research, but if you don't know about those records, you wouldn't be searching for them. Okay, so I am going to answer your question here, Amy, instead of giving that website feedback, because it's a really great question, and I'm going to go back to being on my webcam, and I will remember to switch. Okay, so Amy, such a good question, which is, if I have a post about how to do Civil War research, but let's say like my family came over, they were Hessian soldiers that defected on my dad's side. And I know that because legit somebody showed up at my grandfather's funeral with our family tree and went, look, you're in here, and we got it. But until then, I didn't know that our family went back to the 18th century. So I wouldn't know to look for the Civil War connections unless I already had that base level of knowledge. So my question for you, Amy, is not so much how do you get people to look for things, but what knowledge do your people already have by the time they get to you? And then we can create content that will help them where they are, to meet them. That's how I should say it, to meet them where they are. So if you want to specialize in, I help people find Civil War records, we can optimize that post for Civil War genealogy. And there are going to be people who they want to know whether or not their great-great-grandpa was at Gettysburg. And they want to know what happened at the Battle of Bighorn. You know what? Is that Civil War? I was a history minor. I don't remember. But there are going to be people out there who have that level of knowledge that they're looking for the Civil War. There are going to be a lot fewer people who are looking specifically for Civil War family descriptions than there are people who are just looking for, like, how do I start my genealogy, right? So knowing that, how do I want to describe this? The more knowledge your ideal client has, the more specific your content can get. So if you have a piece of content about Civil War family records, you're going to attract people who are really into the Civil War, but there aren't going to be nearly as many of those. But if you become the Civil War person, then those Civil War people will find you. So it won't be as hard to turn the Civil War enthusiasts into Amy's customers if you write that piece of content. But know that there might be 10 Civil War special enthusiasts for every 1,000 people out there looking for somebody to help them build their family tree for their kids' school project. So the question for you is not even necessarily what are people looking for, but what do you want to help people with? How much education do you want to give people? If you only want the Civil War people, maybe write about as much Civil War as you want to. Talk about every Civil War battle and what the records are and how to find them and how difficult it is to do Civil War. And hey, don't you want to hire me to help you do the Civil War section of your genealogy? But if your people don't even know that their family was in the country at that point, then they won't be looking for Civil War. So this is less, and so next, in 2 weeks when we get the guest expert training showing up, I want you to watch the training from Lacey Boggs, where she's going to talk about that customer awareness journey and the customer awareness spectrum and where different people show up in that space. And I think that'll also help with answering this question about, how do I know how to get those records in front of people if they don't know to search for them? If they don't know to search for them, you can't create that demand for it, but you can align your content with the things that you help people with and that you know they're searching for. So I hope that helps. I'm going to go back to share my screen before I forget. I didn't give you a timestamp, Amy. I think it was about 54. Oh no, I did. Cool. All right. see. We've got Yarrow. Kristen wrote in here, but Kristen's actually in my Track and Activate membership, and I'm already over an hour, so I'm going to skip her, and I'll just give her feedback later. So Yarrow is at Yarrow Digital. Make sure there's no more questions. All right. Small business web design tips, web design and business mentoring for creative entrepreneurs and holistic practitioners. I've been supporting my clients with SEO, but in the last few years recommended they hire a specialist, so my knowledge is a little bit dated. And Yarrow would be played by Emma Watson. I see it. I totally see it. Okay, so we have Yarrow Digital, web design and creative business magic. That's an image, so we don't necessarily have Google picking up this part about creative business magic. Hi, I'm Yarrow. I help handmade WordPress websites and support people in building sustainable businesses that are aligned with their values and fun to work in. I kind of feel like these are two different things that you help people with, and I don't necessarily know who the target audience is. And I know that when we start to build our own websites, we kind of start it from, hi, this is who I am. But I kind of want this to be more focused on who your audience is. And what they want. And so I would say starting this less as, hi, I'm Yarrow, and more as, I help, what did you say? Creative entrepreneurs and holistic practitioners. I help creative entrepreneurs and holistic practitioners to build websites that grow their businesses and strategize sustainable business, or build sustainable business strategies, and just kind of try to wrap it up into one thing that you help them with, because I don't know if people are necessarily coming to you just for website design or just for that kind of sustainable business alignment. It's going to be easier to be found for WordPress websites out of the gate than it is to be found for sustainable business alignment, just because people don't necessarily know that it exists, but there are always people who are looking for a WordPress web designer. And I would also say WordPress web design or WordPress web designer instead of create handmade WordPress websites. And I would also put in here definitely for creative entrepreneurs and holistic practitioners, or maybe if there are specific types of creative entrepreneurs or holistic practitioners that you work with, naming those out, because very rarely do people say I'm a holistic practitioner. They're much more likely to say I'm a healer, I'm a chiropractor, I'm a Reiki practitioner, I'm a body worker, I'm a massage therapist, I'm a herbalist. Giving that list is going to show up more than the umbrella terms. I don't want this to be the emphasis here about I'm not on social media. I want this to be more about why are people wanting to work with you. I'm not on social. I don't check to see if people are on social media until I already think about why I want to follow them. So instead of leading with I'm not on social media because it isn't fun, I would say, the best way to keep in touch with me is to get my 30-page workbook called Our Bodies as Authentic Business Mentors, which is really interesting to me. And then you'll also get my monthly newsletter. We don't need to know your particular marketing strategies. I would just probably come down to the bottom, realize that your social media isn't on here, and figure out how to keep in touch with you if I wanted to. So let's not, okay. Web design, embodied business community courses. I want that a little bit higher up. I wonder if we could have this be your face, have that unique value proposition here, move this up, and instead of what I offer, have it be something more collective, like how we can work together, and then have these pieces of how people can, what it is that you do, and make it clear that they can go to each of those pages, and then have the call to action to hop on your email list. I love having your values here, especially because of the type of people that you're working with and what you're working on them with. I love having those on your homepage. I almost lost this. I think it's because it's the same color as these, but much smaller, but that's the call to action. So I wonder if we could leave this up here and then down here, move this down here, so that way we do have that contrast, but we're not having the call to action be lost among the images. Good. I like having the blog and podcast down here. This is beautiful. I feel like I know who you are and how you show up because of the way that you have aligned this, the pictures that you're using, the color choices that you have, the opt-in. I feel like your people are going to gravitate to this, especially those holistic practitioners. But I want it to be a lot clearer about not just web design, but how you specifically help those people who are a little bit more grounded in the way that the earth moves, and people who are, who are your people. Maybe instead of just having your values here are the company values, here are our core values, and then maybe like who we work with, and have a separate listing here that's like showing why the values matter because of who you choose to work with. I kind of want to see a little bit more here about not just who you are, but who you serve. So I hope that is helpful. All right. Next we have, we're at 58 minutes there. Post 58,100. All right, we have Carrie Jones coming in hot at 1 hour and 5 minutes. All right, let's make sure I'm still streaming. I'm loving the conversation in here. All right. Carrie says, empowering you with color. I do know Carrie's business. She's right here in my town, so I have a little bit more insights on this one. I love this logo here. I love how colorful this is. I wish we had here, Carrie, something like color analysis to help you feel comfortable in your body. It's not just empowering you with color, because then you could be a painter, but the thing that you do that I think is really interesting is that you're helping people find the colors that work well, so that way they feel more confident. So instead of just empowering you with color analysis that will help you feel XYZ, color analysis that will help you find clothes that make you feel brilliant, right? Like, what are the outcomes? Not just, I'm a dark winter, but what's the benefit of knowing that I'm a dark winter? Guys, Carrie did my colors recently, so I'm not just making up this part. I actually have a dark winter. Yes, this is so good. I want this to be more focused here. And same thing I've said to a couple other people, this feels a little bit on the tall side. I kind of want there to be maybe cutting off right around here. And I think you could still center this, so that way we see that these are the parts that you're using, but maybe we could just make it, a third cutoff, so that way we have this value prop underneath it. And Carrie, I'm going to also say to you, it's not just about the color analysis. It's about finding color swatches and makeup that work for your colors. Like, not just the color analysis, but I also want to make sure that we are, oh, here we go. Swatch books. This feels a little low contrast to me, and I think it's because some of these images have the white background, but then we also have the white text on top. I find them a little bit hard to read, except for shop clothing, because that does have the darker contrast. So I wonder if, and I know you're on Shopify, I wonder if we could do like an overlay color, like take this periwinkly color that you have and put it behind the images, like over the top of the images, and then when we have people hover over it, change to maybe more of this pinky color, but that way we'll have more contrast. It's hard for me to read the word cosmetics because it's white on white. This is so good. I love that you have your swatches here that people can buy to start with. Hey, this is my hairstylist. All right, good. We've got Rochester, New York in here. Shop local colorfully, good. I like that you have the email here, but it's not the emphasis. The emphasis is on the products and booking the thing. And then we've got your landing page here to sign up for your Michigan. Okay, Carrie, I think this is a great site, but I would definitely clean up the value proposition here. Include much more of these, like, what are the benefits of working with you? Yeah, same thing. This is text on an image, so Google's not going to be able to read this. And, for accessibility purposes, people who might be using screen readers wouldn't be able to read this. I also kind of want like a section somewhere on this page with your smiling face that says like, hi, I'm Carrie, and I've been helping people find colors that feel great for their bodies for 25 years. And just like explaining who you are in the midst of this with text over an image, not with text in the image. I think that would be really great. Confidence through color analysis, Steph just said in the chat box, and I think that's a really clear way to say it too. All right, Kristen. And let me give you a timestamp, 1:09. Okay, she says, I literally just threw this together. Yes, I like the action that you're taking right now, Kristen. My goal at the end of the program is to have a fully functioning WordPress site, but I threw this together on Wix. So I will say, I don't usually try to be too platform specific, but Wix will serve you better for SEO. Or, I'm sorry, WordPress, if you're willing to put in the time to do it, will serve you better than Wix. Wix is a little bit slow to load, and it includes some specific coding languages that Google doesn't love so much. So it's better to be on WordPress than on Wix, but I understand you kind of just want to get it live to get some feedback, to start writing, to start building, and I really appreciate that kind of launch mentality. Holistic wellness coaching. She wants to be found for stress and burnout, holistic wellness coaching. She says, I'm torn to the URL. I own Library of Eats from when I had a food blog, but I think Kristen Mastel would be more flexible, or I love Nourished Through Nature. I want to focus on getting folks into nature using herbalism, etc. for their well-being. Okay, so I'm going to do another one of my, you know what, I will actually, I was going to do a face-to-face conversation about URLs, but I want to give you feedback here, since you're still in the building mode. Healthy life is within reach. Holistic wellness with Kristen Mastel. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. I love this smiling face here. I think if you can keep that when you build the full site. Holistic wellness. I would include coaching here. If you have a specific audience that you're working with, I would tap into some of the things that you help them with. So you said that you want to help people get back into nature. Maybe this would be a good time, whether you use the Nourish Through Nature URL or your name. I think tying that into your value proposition here would be good. A healthy life is within reach by helping you eat healthy, food to feel better. Like, healthy life is within reach could be something that a personal trainer says, but you're a little bit different because you want to help them get back to their roots a little bit more. So let's integrate that into this value prop in a way that makes sense. Certified health coach, nutrition consultant, herbalist, and nature-based therapy practitioner. Boom! That's what I'm looking for. Like, give me all the titles. But put them on your about page and put them here. Not necessarily in that value prop, but I see how it all fits together. And that can go over to your about page. Perfect. Specialize in chronic illness and burnout. This got lost. This chronic illness and burnout through nature-based therapy, I kind of want that to be built into this. I've given you a lot to build into this this value prop, but instead of a healthy life that's within reach, it could be something like using nature to help you, using nature and nutrition to help you feel better from chronic illness and burnout, right? Like, let's come out and say exactly who it is that you're helping and how you're helping them, instead of being generic. Okay, nature-based therapy, establishing eating habits, healthy lifestyle, health goals, holistic wellness plan. Perfect. And eventually we'll have that page. Yes. Book a consultation. I like this. I kind of wish that we had a call to action button a little higher. So after we have this discover button, yep. Okay. So that is your booking page. Awesome. So let's make this book a consultation. Discover. I thought that I was going to be going to your healthy living page. I didn't think that I was going to book a consultation call. So let's put that there. Let's do the same thing right here. Either go to your about page since you're doing it about here, or book a consultation. But I like this. Okay. And you're going to shift this around so that way you have a consultation page on there. Good. I like these, the Wix templates, but I know that you'll put in your own. Having this connection box. Is this joining your email? Okay. So let's pull this so that way we have it on a separate page. No, I think this is a really great start. And I think if you're not sure in terms of having the branded domain or the personal domain, I usually tell people you're going to buy your personal domain anyway so that way no one else steals it. So I suggest starting with that. And then if you decide you want to grow into something else later, you can. But I would prefer that since this is a personal brand with your face front and center, it's a little bit easier to pivot down the road if you just use your name, as opposed to if you do Nourished Through Nature, then you're going to be tied to that. And if you eventually want to pivot and talk more about something else, you're going to have to feel like you have to start over, but you can't start over with your own name. So that would be my recommendation. All right. We have Steph, Helen, Jess, Carrie. Okay, guys, I'm so excited that so many people filled this out, but I have 10 minutes till I have to go pick my kid up from school. So I might come back and do more tomorrow. Would that be okay with you? Sometimes I get a little bit too excited. So I think I might need to, I can do maybe 2 more and then I'll come back and do the rest in a little bit. I'm sorry to those folks. I talk a lot. All right, we're at 1:15. We're doing Steph, and I know Steph's here, so I want to respect that. Shit snacks. Okay, Mythical Enterprises, soul-led business, Jessica Chastain. Oh, another Gina Davis, and Winona Ryder. Okay, it's just kind of fun to ask you guys that, to have a question in there that's not related to anything else. Okay, Steph, is finding clients exhausting? Man, it's a gorgeous leopard. I'm like distracted by how pretty this leopard is. Is finding clients exhausting? Does it feel like you have to become someone else to get the clients you want? Let me help you find your unique way to get unstuck and calling clients with more ease. Whew. That's really clear exactly what you're going to help me with. I do like to say that people, I one of my pet peeves is when people talk about getting unstuck, because that's coaches speaking. That's not how people who need help necessarily speak. I very rarely hear people say I'm stuck, but I hear a lot of coaches say that they help people get unstuck. So I would want to be a little bit clearer here. But the fact that you start with, it feels like you have to become someone else to get the clients you want, that is blowing my mind. So maybe we could just even remove the get unstuck. Let me help you find your own unique way to call in clients with more ease. And then I would want this to be almost like 4 separate sentences. 1 is finding clients exhausting. Do you feel like you have this? Let me help you calling clients with more ease. And then you could even, instead of request access, say, just join my free community. Right there. Have that be the call to action. What's the benefit of the community? I'm assuming this is a Facebook group. Yeah. What's the benefit of the community versus the email list, and which do you want more? Because I feel like saying come to the community and then sign up for the email list, I'm not sure which is a better benefit for me. So I would say whichever one you want more, do that in both places. What you could do is say, like, get my free guide right here and have them join your email list. And then when you are sending them the email list, you could also say, like, and when you get your bullshit free business wisdom, I'll also send you an invitation to join my free community. Like, guide with one and include the other as a bonus, as opposed to having 2 conflicting calls to action here. A new paradigm in business. I don't know what this means. And when people are Googling, they don't know what that means either. Or when people are skimming, I should say, they don't necessarily know what that means. Google doesn't know what this means. So I would say, instead of new paradigm business, since you're looking for soul-led business, I would say how to lead your business with soul. And then I also think, you said, I don't know what people would be looking for. Would they look for soul-led business? I think they'd look for how to get more clients authentically, or how to get more clients in less time. How to get clients that don't suck, right? If you're going to say bullshit free, maybe you can bring a little bit more of that into your copy and be like, you don't just want more clients. You want clients that you actually want to work with, who are aligned with your values, because you're showing up as the person that you want to be. Energy sensitive business owners. That's fascinating. Would people call themselves energy sensitive business owners? are these highly sensitive people? Because we might want to tap into something that people already know. Maybe energy sensitive and highly sensitive people are not the same. I also feel like we have this really strong headline here, and then we have a lot of text underneath it. It's like 4 sentences and the text is a little small. So I might either make these into separate sentences or just boost the font size here a little bit. Learn more. You guys in your learn more call to action. I thought I was going to call you all out on having the same SEO titles as your page names, which, to be fair, we have a lot of homepage, home. But yes, I thought that would be the thing. But what I'm seeing a lot is this learn more that doesn't tell me what I'm going to learn. Where is this sending me? This is sending me to the elemental business incubator, according to the piece that shows up in the corner down here, that like breadcrumb there. Learn more about working, or let's work together. Or join my program. Let's have our calls to action mean something. Saying learn more, follow me here, get more, it doesn't mean anything. So let's let people know with our calls to action button what we can expect. Oh, Steph, this picture of you is hot shit. Okay, I'm Steph, a former national security advisor turned spiritual teacher, deeply practical and highly intuitive. Instead of just I'm Steph, let's have your title here, whatever that is. Business coach for okay, Stephanie responded. Gina Davis and her spy films in the 90s. Yeah, I see it. I've done some testing with language, and some of them identify as highly sensitive people and some don't. Okay, that's good to know. So we might want to have some blog posts about what it's like to run a business as a highly sensitive person, but we don't necessarily need to put it on your homepage. Mythical Enterprises. Okay. So whatever your title is here, I would say I'm Steph. I help sensitive entrepreneurs build soul-led businesses, right? Whatever that phrase is, let's get it into the title. Right now, I'm Steph. I don't quite understand who you are yet. But if you say I'm Steph and I help XYZ with X outcome, then I will tune if I'm a, energy sensitive business owner and I'm looking for a soul-led business. So I want that to all show up in the header if possible. Man, these leopard pictures. Yes. So these blog post titles, I'm going to tell you later on that they need to be more specific, but I do love that you're bringing your voice into it, and slay Death Eaters. We need to find this magical balance of what are people looking for and how do I get them to actually click through. So maybe this title could be, you can leave the image as it is, but maybe we can make the SEO title of a post like this something like how to make more money in your business while slaying Death Eaters. So that way we get that business, money, all of those pieces fitting into the SEO title so that way people will actually see it and click on it. And they get a little bit of your voice here. Yeah. So here's the soul-led services. I kind of want more information about how people can work with you somewhere in here. So in the same way that we have these 3 gorgeous images from your recent blog post, I kind of wonder if there's a way that we can do that too, whether it's 3 boxes that are right here you could say, I help energy sensitive entrepreneurs to build soul-led businesses. And then you could have those 3 offers that you have down here, the Unseen Lab, Soulful Sales Conversations, Elemental Business, and having images here that are clear about what are the differences between those 3 products as opposed to sending them to just one of them. I think that might be interesting. Okay, I have Helen, Jess, Carrie, Sarah, Kathy, Rebecca. Guys, I'm going to have to wrap up for the day and come back tomorrow. I will, because I'm out of time and my throat is dry. So and I know that you guys, I didn't give you a timeline on it, so I'm seeing a big drop off right at that 2:00 time slot, which makes perfect sense. I just gave you the wrong screen. No, I am talking to the right place. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I'll be back tomorrow to finish these up, and I will tag those last 5 people. I wasn't sure exactly how many people would sign up for this when I organized it, and we had way more people than I expected, which is awesome. So I will be back to finish those last 5 tomorrow, and I'll leave a little note for all of you and let you know exactly when I'll be in, probably about 10 in the morning tomorrow. I'll finish this up. Thank you all so much for those of you who are here with me live. I really appreciate all the comments, all of the support, all of the feedback as we're going. And I'll see you tomorrow for phase 2. Thank you.